Have you ever wondered how Ansible dynamically creates configuration file and processes data on the fly? Well, that's the magic of Jinja2. In this video, we are going to explore how you can unlock the full potential of Ansible using Jinja2 templating. And trust me, by the end of this video, you will be ready to start crafting dynamic configuration with an ease. Welcome back to the channel. I am Nikhil Kumar, and today we are diving into one of the most powerful features in Ansible, that is Jinja2 templates. Whether you are automating server configurations or generating reports, Jinja2 will help you write dynamic, reusable, and maintainable templates. So let's get started. Let's start with a simple Jinja2 example to introduce you to the basics. The easiest way to use Jinja2 in Ansible is with variables. Let's create a simple template that uses Ansible variables to generate an NGINX configuration file. So this is my Ansible controller node. In this particular machine, I am going to place all the codes here. So first of all, let's create a one directory, Ansible-Jinja2. So in this particular directory, I'm going to place all the template file and the Ansible playbook for today's demo. Let's go into that. And first of all, I'm just going to create a template file so that I can place all the templates under this directory, and I will read all the configuration template file from this particular directory itself. So let's start with the basic NGINX configuration file. I'm going to create one file, NGINX.conf.j2. Basically, we are using the Jinja2 templating, so we need to give an extension .j2. It's a best practice to give an extension like that. Let's create that. Let's create a simple configuration file. We are going with a basic variabilize template where we are going to pass server name and the backend server from the Ansible playbook and going to update those variable information on the fly on the configuration file. So here, listen at port number 80, server name, and curly braces, server name, location, slash, and the proxy pass and the backend server information. Curly braces close, curly braces close, and close. Here we are using the double curly braces to inject the variable server name and the backend server into the configuration file. Now let's see how this works inside the playbook. So I'm going to create a playbook called Jinja2.yml, and I'm going to run this particular playbook on the local host to show you how the Jinja2 templating will work. And we are going to define two variables, that is, one is server name. So I'm giving a random server name, example.com, and the backend server, that is 192.168.10.11. I'm just giving a random number here. Task. We are going to use a template module. Template module is used to manage configuration file by processing Jinja2 templates. It allows you to create dynamic configuration files based on the variable defined in your playbook or inventory file or some other location. Let's give a name to the task, generate NGINX config, and module ansible.builtin.template. And it takes two parameters, that is source and destination. Sources are the Jinja2 template file which resides under the templates directory and with the name called nginx.conf.j2, and destination is I am going to place it under the current working directory with the name called nginx.conf. Let's trigger this playbook, Ansible-playbook and the Jinja2.yml. Enter. It updated the configuration file, and let's see, the file got updated. Let's open this file. As you can see, the variables has been replaced with the actual values. This is the basic idea behind the Jinja2 templating. But why stop at just injecting variables? Jinja2 can do much more things. Let's make this more dynamic by adding a loop to our template, so we can handle multiple backend servers. So what we are going to do, we are going to update the same configuration file under the templates. Let me clear this screen first. Templates, nginx.conf Jinja2. Here we are going to use a loop for dynamically create multiple locations based on the list of backend server. So for that, what we are going to do, we are going to create a for loop in the Jinja2 templating. And for that, we need to put curly braces, percentage symbol, and the for loop for servers in backend server. I will explain this thing in detail. Percentage and the curly braces close, and inside that we are going to put server and the curly braces loop.index. The loop.index is just a counter to keep track of each iteration, so it will update the counter value up over there as per the iteration. Then we are going to use the server here instead of backend server, and we need to close the for loop. To close that, we need to write curly braces, percentage symbol, and for loop close. That's all. Basically, it will be iterating over the backend server and store the server information one by one, and it will also keep a track of the index or the counter of that particular iteration, and it will update that particular thing over there. The similar thing I showed in my previous video where I explained how to do the configuration of the HA proxy on the fly with the multiple backend web servers. So let's trigger the same playbook again. Right now, let's see the configuration here. It's same, right? Like it's updated the information by splitting up the values in 192 and dot because we just passed the single IP address. So let me do one thing. In the jinja2.yml file, I'm going to create a list of servers. It's just a string right now, so that's why it took like that. Is a separate entity for each of the numbers. I'm going to create a 3 servers list here and 13, and let me run the same playbook. Let me clear the screen out, and then let me open this file. As you can see, it dynamically updates the information of the server along with the location. Like it automatically updates the counter of those particular IP address, that is at number 1, 2 and 3. With just a few lines of Jinja2 code, we have dynamically generated multi-locations in our NGINX configuration for each backend server. Now, let's add some logic to this template. Jinja2 also supports conditional, which means we can adjust the configuration based on the certain condition. Let's update the same configuration file. Let me templates nginx.conf.j2, and what I'm going to do, I am going to add the conditions here. So for that, what I'm going to do, I am going to define the if condition here. So for that, we need to use the same approach which we use in the for loop, curly braces, percentage if SSL enabled, percentage and curly braces close. So that means like if SSL enabled is equal to true, oh, that means like it will execute this particular block of code. And so I'm going to define the block of code for the SSL certificate configuration. Listen on port 443 SSL, and I'm going to provide the SSL certificate information etc NGINX SSL server name .crt and SSL certificate key information etc/etc/nginx/ssl and the server name .key. Here I missed the slash or both the locations, slash. And to close the if block, so we need to use the same approach. Instead of and for, we need to use and if, and using the same curly braces, percentage symbol, and if percentage symbol and close. Now we have added a condition that if SSL enabled is true. If it is yes, then it means that the template will configure the NGINX to listen on port 443 and load the SSL certificate. Let's pass the same value in the playbook as well. Let me save it, and jinja2.yml, and we are going to pass the SSL underscore enabled equal to true, and going to run the same playbook, Ansible -playbook jinja2.yml. Let me open this file. As you can see, with SSL underscore enabled set to true, the template added the SSL configuration to the NGINX. This flexibility is one of the biggest advantage of using Jinja2 with Ansible. So there you have it. With Jinja2, you can write powerful and flexible templates that dynamically adapt to your infrastructure. Whether looping through variables, adding conditionals, or using filters, Jinja2 has you covered. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe for more Ansible tutorials, and let me know in the comments how you plan to use Jinja2 in your projects. Until next time, have a nice day.